Hello, welcome back and welcome to a kind of special. So there's another solo gamer who is a voice actor, I am not, who utilised Lichdom for character generation. Now I was reading through Lichdom and it's quite interesting and I like the premise of it, but I would like to bring it up to date. And I would like to, as the title of this is called, being Bryan J, I would like to focus this sort of one-off, though I don't know how many sessions it's going to go because we haven't played it yet, of Lichdom around a character that we are going to call Bryan J. B-R-Y-A-N-J. Now, Mandy, who I've mentioned several times before, is quite fascinated with Bryan J because Bryan J, who I'm not going to name for legal reasons, because he's got a lot more money than I have, Bryan J is focused on staying alive as long as possible. Now, it just so happens that Bryan J, he's actually younger than me, and as far as I'm concerned, doesn't look as fit and healthy as I do. But anyway, Mandy disagrees. So we are going to play Bryan J. So our sorcerer. So basically, let's give you. Lichdom. I don't know if you watched the other other. Oh, what was it on adverts, particularly for the BBC? Other products are available. Other solo gamers are available. Talking about Lichdom, but Lichdom is a solo role-playing game about the ambitious journey of a sorcerer, evil, to become immortal, to become a lich. So the aim of this game is you progress through. It's a narrative game, really. You progress through the story of trying to become a lich. And if you do become that lich, are basically becoming immortal. And so what we need for this is we need a deck of cards. Et voila. I've removed the jokers, so this is a standard deck of Queen's playing cards. And I think we need some dice. Now I've got my Oracle dice that I've been using because I recorded a Walking Dead. But I might get some, I'll have these two. We'll use those two dice. I think 2 dice is what we need. Standard Hollowponds Solo Sagas approach. Learn it as you go. 2d6 means you must roll 2d6. Right, there we go. 2d6. 2d6 should do us. So what we do is you progress through the game by, we'll set up who our sorcerer is and the background of our sorcerer, and then we progress through the sorcerer's life in years by pulling out cards. And there's certain things that happen with the cards that will then bring out certain eventualities. And the cards have certain effects. So, our Bryan can't even spell his name properly, can he? And anyone who watches his name is Bryan, spelled B-R-Y-A-N. I do apologise. I'm sure you are an awesome person. Absolutely top notch. So, being Bryan J. Bryan J is a multimillionaire, and Bryan J has been researching and spending his life so far up until this point trying to perpetuate his existence. Now, he made a lot of money in tech and he made a lot of money on the stock markets, and he has made himself even more money in the more recent years, and he started focusing his money on various different companies to elongate the lifespan of a human being, specifically himself. And he's conducting experiments upon himself to try and perpetuate his life. Now, some of these experiments are less legal than others. Some of these experiments will involve the internet. Some of these experiments will involve science. Some of these experiments will involve technologies that possibly the US government have retrieved illegally using black ops from certain craft. Who's saying where they come from? But they can do stuff that we don't understand. And some of this science is just mundane. But Bryan wants to live forever. He even takes every morning NMN, which tastes really bitter and horrible, because I take that. So, Bryan has a healthy regime of exercise, resistance and cardio, and he likes to keep himself fit and healthy and only eat the peel of apples. Now, we won't bother going through world creation or stuff like that because basically it's this world. It's the Earth that you and I are, I assume you're living on Earth. I don't want to make assumptions about you. I need to be, you know, we could be anywhere, are living on Earth, and this is the world that in which we live. Now, our aim is to try and get 2 secrets of the universe. So Bryan needs to crack some secrets. Some of these secrets are mundane. The mundane ones are aces. I think they're so the red ones are mundane. So we have hearts are mundane social things. Diamonds are mundane violent acts. Clubs are arcane research, scientific research. And spades are arcane unnatural research. These are the things that may be coming from other sources. What we do basically is we pull a card and then we deal with that card in a certain number of different ways. We are looking for 2 secrets, as I just said, but then kind of brushed over because I got distracted and read something and probably cut that because it went all quiet. 2 secrets, and those are aces. If we've then got 2 secrets, depending on the number of truths we've got, companions we've picked up, enemies we've picked up, influence that we have in the world, social media and influencing, Bryan J has his own YouTube channel. But I'm not necessarily meaning any form of specific real Bryan J. No, I am not. Come on, you've got so much money, you don't have to get any off from me, do you? So we'll shuffle the deck of cards and we will pick one off. Now what happens is strictly speaking, it's almost a year or 6 months of Bryan's life is what this card is. So the first thing we will pull up is a Queen of Clubs. So we will look in this book, which I printed out, of a Queen of Clubs. Now the Queens are influence cards. Now we can discard a Queen to get a plus 2d6 or a plus 1d6 to challenges. So help from the arcane powers is not readily available to most mortals, but you have the opportunity to buy their assistance or command them to give you aid by genius, sorcery, secret knowledge or other means. Basically, this is a lab team. So Bryan has paid for his own specific lab team. They are called, let's call them Arcane Inc. This would be, what's this? This is influence. So Arcane Inc. is a lab team that Bryan has got access to. Now it's taken a lot of research and a lot of putting the right people together. He's gone to most of the universities within the world. He's approached individuals specifically and he's put together the best team he can get to get the knowledge on how to rebuild. So this team, Arcane Inc., specializes in rebuilding the genome. Now it's not easy to do, and there might be it can. So is this? So Queen of Clubs. This is just normal. So this is normal science rather than coming from weird sources. That would be spades. So this is standard science, but we have this team now. We get to keep this card now. We get to keep the card. We'll put it over. If I could open this up. Oh, if I open up the top part and open up the bottom part, we can keep things places. So we can keep that card and we keep that card as a resource. So we now have an influential team. How do they encounter them? So we purchase them. How do they help? They help us, and it costs money, but it also costs, because some of the stuff they do, it's not unnatural, so it's all okay. So it gives us good influence and people like what we're doing. It took about 6 months for Bryan to get that team together, but they're together and they're working hard for him. 6 of Hearts, 6. Scheming, Scrying. Swap a card between pay costs with either one. Okay, here we go. Right, 6 of Hearts. Now these work in a weird way. These are scheming or scrying cards. We can use this to actually play with the cards and adjust things from the future. But the easiest way to pay for it is to use another scheming scrying card, because otherwise we have resolve and doom. We have basically 4 resolve. Resolve is how difficult it is for Bryan to get up every morning, to have his full regime, injections all over the place, stand in front of certain lights, look at certain colours. Oh man, if you look him up, he's been recently having electroshock treatment to a certain part of his anatomy to get it to function like it did when he was an 18-year-old. But this takes resolve. Doom comes off as bad things that will happen to Bryan and drop his resolve. 6 of Hearts, being Bryan J. Your constant scheming against bickering noble houses and numerous spies infiltrating their own households finally provides the results you can use. So, this is Bryan has a political. So this is a political ally. So the 6 of Hearts is a political ally that Bryan has been able to find at maybe I would say drinks, but Bryan probably doesn't drink, does he? Well, Bryan went to drinks and he made a point of asking for a specific type of fruit juice to be available, which cuts down free radicals within the body and eliminates those which might cause problems to skin cells, thus causing cancer. And Bryan asked for that specifically, which this political, let's see, who shall it be? We will call them Fred Wembley. Fred Wembley is a political ally within, I don't know, what country? It's called, make him British. He's British. Which then gives Bryan J some influence within the British political system to be able to see ahead of what's going on and get some feedback and some underground information if anything is happening within certain aspects of the political world. That took just one series of drinks and certain dinners. What do we got next? Another heart. So this is the Jack of Hearts. I think a Jack is a companion. Apply +1 to all challenges of the same nature. Discard to neutralise a catastrophe. Discard to apply +d6 to any challenge. +1d6 rather. Keep until discarded for extra effect. So a companion. All right, let's see what does Jack of Hearts. Let's see how that comes out. Otherwise, we will say you encounter a mortal companion that will follow you in your ambitious quest. Their skills will be useful. Right, okay. So what this is a fitness influencer. This is Will T. He's never going to watch this. Companions. Will Tennyson. Will Tennyson came to do a special YouTube special where Will came and spent the day with Bryan J, doing everything that Bryan J did, eating the food that Bryan J did, and saying how hard that is. Kind of like Bryan quite liked him and invited him back the week afterwards and invited him back through. And it stopped being a known thing, but Will has quite an influence within the, so what is Hearts? Mundane Social. Awesome. Will is a fitness influencer. So Will, being a fitness influencer, can then put out certain videos and make it seem better for Bryan J in case something comes up and we need to push Bryan's agenda slightly harder on the open public. Oh wow, we're getting quite a little cadre together. Okay, so what do we got? We could go scrying, but I don't want to go scrying unless I've got something to pay for scrying with. Oh, Jack, we've got another influence. So what's this? What's diamonds? Mundane violent. Okay. What does Jack of Diamonds come up as within our description? Jack of Diamonds, you encounter a mortal companion that follows you, investing their skills to be useful in the mundane world of violence and threats that you need to know. All right, okay. So this is that whilst at one of those political functions, aforesaid mentioned political functions, somebody's maybe like one of the Secret Service agents and FBI. So we've got an FBI agent, let's say wet work, has approached Bryan and said that he will make himself available to Bryan for completing specialist operations that Bryan might need done if certain challenges come up. Now we haven't had one yet, but hopefully this will come. So anything which is a number, where's challenge? Numbers 2 to 5 are narrative events. I don't think those are challenges. Which are the challenges? Adverse events are 7s to 9. So a 7 to a 9 is a challenge. Not a 5. No effect on game mechanics, opportunity for world and character development. All right, so Hearts was social. So we get invited No, we've started our own social channel. So what we've decided to do is we decide to start our own YouTube channel with the help of Will. We begin to create influence, and we begin to start our own YouTube channel. So Bryan J begins to push his social agenda out there, being Hearts is social, and we begin to build our own presence of a social, because this is just story, no effect on gameplay, resolve the event and discard. So we discarded the card. It's out of your view, it's all the way over here, gone from the world. What happens next? 6, which is another scrying event. All right, let's do some scrying. So, what are spades? Spades are the unnatural things, aren't they? All right, so what 6 of spades would come out as? You have an opportunity to look into many futures that diverge from your presence by tracing powerful runes on ashes or changing. No, what we've got is we have the opportunity. There's so with the money and influence that we have, someone's offered us the first pass of utilizing an AI algorithm which will assist us in working out what's coming. So it's going to look at the different patterns that's going on in the world, different things in the news, different things in science, different things in the social spheres, and we're going to attempt to find out, can we do that? I think we can do that. Yes, we can. So we're going to attempt to do some scrying, all right, which means I need to look that up because I don't really remember how that works. Right, special opportunity for your sorcerer to change the future. Keep the card to use whenever you wish. Discard another. Right, you must also pay the cost for scheming scrying with one of the following. Discard another scheming scrying card. This represents your focus on the task. Okay, so we are going to use that person that we found in the political influence to some favours from this political influencer, Fred Wembley. We're going to use British Fred Wembley because this has come out of Oxford, Oxford University. He has got access to this scrying for Oxford University. So what we do, after paying the cost, roll 2d6 and takes that many cards from the Doom deck. Okay, so we roll 2d6. The die with the lowest number represents the certain future, which is bound to happen unless you intervene. The other one is the uncertain future. You can swap one card between certain and uncertain futures. At the end of the event, shuffle the uncertain futures with the rest of the deck and place the certain ones on the top of the deck. So we've got a 4 and a 5. So we take 9 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Right, so we've got 4 cards. So the top 4 are the certain ones. We've got an ace there. That's what we want. And the bottom are the uncertain. We've got an ace. So we're going to swap. We can do this. So we're going to swap that ace out. And I think we don't want a 7 because a 7 is an event. So we take the 7 and we're going to put that in with the bottom one. So these are the uncertain ones, which is the 5. Is that right? Yes. And then at the end of the event, we will shuffle the uncertain future with the rest of the deck and place a certain future on the top. If the deck doesn't cover, okay, yeah, but it does. Okay, so we're going to shuffle those 5 back in. Do talk amongst yourself whilst I'm shuffling. Normally when I shuffle cards, I cut it out, and then you don't actually see me shuffling for ages. But when I do shuffle, I normally shuffle for quite a long time. So Bryan has run this AI influence, this AI script, and it's come up. So apparently there's an AI script at the moment, or a software, but it burns. Like, the problem with a lot of the AI at this present moment in time is it burns electricity. It utilizes a huge number of GPUs. So if you want to buy shares in Radeon, Radeon's the place to buy shares in for their GPUs because they make a lot of GPUs. There's also, I think it's a Dutch company which makes the stuff, which is one of the only companies in the world which makes the tools that they use to make the chips, if you want to get shares in that. Although I should now state, because we are on YouTube, that I am not a financial advisor. We now have our 4 cards. I don't know if I shuffle these. After paying the costs, so this is our certain future. We've got a queen, a scrying card, and 2. That's really good. I reckon, like, we've got this. So a queen is an influence, so something that would influence. With Scry, we might even need to deal with. And then we've got two of our secrets. So we will shuffle those. Not that there's much to shuffle because there's 4 of them. Put those back on the top. And there we roll. So these 2 go because we've utilised those. We still have our 2 friends. And we've got our influence. So we've still got arcane ink. And then we've got will. And we've got our FBI agent. So next. 6, a scrying, which is a club, and I think clubs was our normal, wasn't it? Clubs was just scientific research. So if that's scrying with scientific, no, that's clubs is scientific research. Spades was weird, unnatural. So we still got the AI. But we're talking about AGI, so artificial generalized intelligence. So this AI is verging on sentiency. That's where it got weird. And the technology that was driving this was very strange. And Bryan had to sit in a weird thing and had be basically almost integrated with this strange technology that didn't seem normal or human or natural to Bryan. This, on the other hand, is way more. This is like a Gallup poll. This is a bunch of surveys and polls and results that have been presented to Bryan on the results from his YouTube channel. So he's basically his YouTube analytics and various other analytics that he's got a team that's running for him that allows him to process and then understand what might be coming in the future. A truth, a universal truth. Diamonds are violence. So an ace of diamonds is a truth of the world that gives you power over death and places you above all mortals, giving you a chance at immortality. So this being violence is the, what have we got? What could we say? Okay. A secret has come to Bryan's attention, Bryan J's attention, that this is a bit, so we've got one which says life force can be extracted from mortals from the distillation of their humours, producing pure life essence that will extend your life and give you strength. Some research has come out that the rumours around, what was her name? It's around that whole Vlad. Someone, I don't know if it's true. Put down in the comments if you know if it's true. That someone bathed in blood. Some queen, I can't remember her name, basically medieval times, bathed in the blood of virgins because it then gave her revitalization. Probably does because of iron and various different things. But something around that and utilizing blood or cell therapies or various things around that space that Bryan, the made up Bryan J, not the real Bryan J, is starting to investigate. And these truths have come forward. And he now knows a way to perpetuate his life. There's a risk involved, but he could do it. And the risk is that we need to roll the challenge. So what have we got? How many years have passed? We've got 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. He's only been going 4 years and he's already discovered a secret to life. And accompanying that, lovely, lovely. Now spades, I think spades is the unnatural ones. Unnatural. Ace of spades. The truth of all realities gives you power over death and place. Right. So this scrying that Bryan did awakened certain channels within his brain and awakened certain parts of him. And he has been offered from an unknown source a tool that will be able to rebuild his structure, his DNA structure and his genome structure, and allow his life to perpetuate. He will no longer be affected by disease, he will no longer age, and he will no longer have the problems that everybody else has. He now knows a secret to become immortal. He now has enough information to try and go through both operations and become immortal. But because we know that we've got a queen coming up, and a queen influence card, discard to apply plus 2d6 or plus 1d6 to a challenge of the same type, might help us in actually becoming a leech. Let me just quickly look at the final thing and see if it's going to help us. Otherwise, we won't bother with the queen. So, to become immortal, a leech. So for Bryan's cells to be reborn and to become, so Bryan never will age and will stay looking as he looks now, like a vampire. He will then have to complete the actual operation, the actual ceremony. So what that involves is rolling 1d6 per truth collected, which he would be rolling 2d6, adding +1 for each companion alive and each influence available, which would be queen. So that queen, so +1 for this, and then another one if we got one, give us +4. +1 for each remaining resolve. So he's not lost any resolve. That would give us 4. That's 8. So he's got a minimum of, well, actually he's not. He's got a minimum of 10, which means that we are looking towards succeeding. So basically our results are 1 to 4, you die. Your flesh boils and your bones crumble, you die. 5 to 8, you become a half creature wraith. 9 to 11, your foul ritual partially succeeds. You live for hundreds of years, but you'll still age in the end. 12 to 19, you become immortal, but you still look older, so you're a leech. 20 plus, you become a god, so something will transition. So what we are going to do is Bryan, as this will make it around like 20-minute, half-hour episode, which is cool. So Bryan is going to utilize the cell technology, which involves unnatural acts on humans, plus this definite alien technology. He's going to use both of those to attempt to make a change. Oh no, first off, let's do this. Oh look, a queen. Because we knew that was there. So hearts was social, wasn't it? Okay, so this is he basically buys. He's now accrued so much resources and so much influence, he buys his own social media platform. Not unlike a certain political entity who attempted to do the same thing, or another very rich person who attempted to do the same thing. That's an X, by the way. Bryan does this. Bryan buys his own social media platform. So utilising his social media savvy that he has developed from dealing with Will. So what we've got 1d6 per truth. We've got 2 truths, so that gives us 2d6. We add 1 for each companion alive, which is +2. And each influence available, which is +2. So we've got +4, +1 for each resolve remaining. We have +8. A total of +8. Compare the results. So we've got a minimum of +8. So definitely we know that Bryan has succeeded in some form of immortality. So he goes into a laboratory. Unknowns to him, a whole bunch of homeless people have been rounded up. What was this? What was this in? This is Rainbow Six. I was talking about the misting things. I don't know if anyone's ever read Rainbow Six, Tom Clancy's story. Because we were talking, me and Mandy were talking about those misting things to keep things cool. And I was saying the first time I ever found out they existed was when I was a teenager and I read Rainbow Six. Anyway, I digress. So he's going, unbeknownst to him, a whole bunch of homeless people have been rounded up and have been processed to allow the pure essence that is going to basically be flushed through in a very much a Wolverine getting his claws in his adamantium body state done, as well as the alien technology has been merged, which will basically rebuild. Bryan is going to be in such pain during this operation, but every cell in his body is basically going to be reconstructed and put back to allow his cells to no longer function the way they used to be practically immortal. He has got the influence of his arcane influencing group, as he's now helping. Will Tennyson is making sure that all the social medias are being kept up to date with the operation that's going on and how successful it will be. And the FBI agent, wet work agent, is making sure to keep Bryan safe during this period of time. we have an 8. And Bryan has hard, cast iron determination and willpower that this is going to work, and he is going to be the first human being to live to 1,000 years and beyond. So we got a 9 plus the 8. Oh, he's not going to become a god. I really want him to become a god. 9 plus the 8 gives us a 17. Sadly, Bryan does not become a god, but Bryan becomes immortal. Tens of thousands of years pass. Everybody dies. Everybody decays. Nobody has been able to repeat this because Bryan makes sure they can't. Bryan is immortal. His body has aged, but he won't die. The cells are re-aging slowly over the tens of thousands of years that Bryan J lives. His skin has become paler. He's become more paper-like. His existence has been doubted onto whether it's the same Bryan, whether it's his son, whether something else is going on. The world has changed. We have gone to the stars. We have gone to the other solar systems. We've spread out, and Bryan still lives. Bryan J reached Lichdom, and Bryan J is immortal. Thank you for joining me for this game of Lichdom. I quite enjoyed doing that. I think that works, changing that into being more modern. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, hit the thumb. Next, we'll be playing some other small indie game. I probably won't do Lichdom again. I'm thinking of either playing a Jane Austen game called Good Society that I've been researching with Mandy. We've both been enjoying watching Sense and Sensibility. Or, of course, there's the thing that I've promised ages ago, which was attempting to play Pirate Borg, but I'm not 100% sure how to do it, and there are no solo guides out there for it, so it might just be using Mythic GM Emulator. Either way, thank you for joining me for this. I quite enjoyed doing that. I hope you enjoyed it too. If you get a chance to follow either Will Tennyson or Bryan J, the real one, do. They're both very awesome influencers, and they both actually Bryan J says a lot of very good stuff, and a lot of the science that he's researching in longevity is something you should look into. And I strongly suggest all of you take care of your health and try and live forever, as the world's an interesting place. We might as well stick around and see what happens next. And what will happen next for us is next week there'll be more games, which I'll join you for then. Have a good week and stay healthy. Bye.